Over the next day or two, we will, again, as I mentioned, see some changes. And the biggest one I think is going to be noticeable is the wind starting to increase. Winds will gust about 25 to 30 miles an hour across the Charlotte area because of the pressure gradient, which is what drives winds between the high pressure that's been overhead of us now and a low that's eventually coming in with this approaching cold front. So again, those proximity of the two, that's what of course causes wind in the first place. So Saturday afternoon and into early Sunday, we're starting to get pretty breezy at times. Temperatures in the afternoon, as I mentioned, mid-70s both days. It really is a nice weekend overall of weather. There's no true complaints, at least in my opinion, other than the fact that the winds get gusty. And really the only complaint I can think about with this is if you've already put out your holiday decorations, they could be blown around, right? So if you have something you really don't want to be blown away, bring it inside, tie it down, things of that nature. I mean, we deal with this pretty much any time of the year. It could be Halloween with Halloween decor, the big blow-ups, Christmas, Thanksgiving, of course. But again, if you have stuff out already, I'd make sure it's held down. And if you do have plans to put things up, I don't think this is the weekend to do so. I should also mention, of course, if you are going to be tailgating this weekend for the 49ers, they're at home this weekend as well. Good idea to make sure those tents, are tied down as well. That's always a big issue that we do see this time of year. Winds will again start to gust right around 25 miles an hour Saturday afternoon, but likely peaking Sunday morning and early Sunday afternoon as well. We'll be around 30 miles an hour again here in Charlotte both days, but notice the mountains will be higher, especially Sunday. We're looking at 40 to 45 miles an hour. So they're used to being gustier wind-wise, of course, compared to us this time of year. But if it's 40, 45 miles an hour in Boone, that means higher elevation spots like Beach Mountain, Sugar Mountain, Blowing Rock, Banner Elk will likely gust closer to 50 to 60. So probably just a touch below our wind advisory criteria there. Again, temperatures are going to be pretty mild. Winds getting gusty, and that's all ahead of that cold front. The front is really not going to bring a significant chance for rain by any stretch of the imagination. We're looking at about 1/10 of an inch at a maximum up in the mountains and foothills. You can also see that west over toward the Asheville area as well. So we really do need rain. I know we talked yesterday a lot about the drought monitor, but we do need some. There just does not look to be anything coming up anytime soon here in the Charlotte area, at least where we could see a substantial chance for rain. There are a few days in the long-range forecast that if we had the perfect setup, we could get another cold air damming situation, but at least as of right now, that looks relatively unlikely. It's more likely that we stay warmer than normal for this time of year. Now, speaking of warmer than normal, that also means that we are not going to see any chance for frost anytime soon, which is good news, of course, for those who work in agriculture and gardeners outside. But just please remember that right now, because we did see the upper 20s earlier this week, effectively that has ended the growing season here in the Piedmont. That's normally what happens when we see our first hard freeze of the season. So we pretty much went from no freeze all the way to the 20s. And so you will likely not see the next few months and weeks, weeks and months, you won't get frost advisories, you won't get freeze watches and warnings, because those are only issued by the National Weather Service during what they classify as the growing season, right? So this is especially the time of year that we'll have to keep a very close eye on some of those numbers, especially if you are someone who has an outdoor garden, you want to try to protect it. Even inside greenhouses, these things need to be monitored, so make sure you're keeping a very, very close eye on that over the next few weeks and months until we probably see our last freeze, which won't be until probably March or April of 2026. Really quick update here on what's going on fall color wise. We're pretty much at, if not past, our peak in the Charlotte area. There are some spots in the southern Piedmont and Sandhills that are still seeing color. And if you remember from a few weeks or so ago when I interviewed Howie Neufeld, the professor from App State, about the colors, he mentioned that unique part of the Carolinas is that we can see color from the mountains all the way to the beaches. So of course the beaches do start to turn as well color wise. And so you typically can see that closer to the end of November and early December, really depending on the season. So there's still plenty of chances to see some gorgeous colors if you haven't already. You're just going to have to go closer and closer to the coast. It still looks pretty nice here in Charlotte, but we've had enough fronts now that we do start to see a lot of those leaves falling to the ground. This is a side note actually, but I noticed it today while I was driving in my neighborhood running errands. A lot of leaves on the ground, people raking. Remember that if you are someone who likes to compost and likes to kind of reuse those rakes instead of throwing them in a trash bag, and tossing them into a landfill, there's a lot of options to use those leaves as fertilizer, as compost piles, things like that. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure you're looking up that information. I do plan on doing a quick little short video for our YouTube channel later on tonight. So if you are someone who wants to do that, keep an eye out for that. I'll post it on social media as well. Otherwise, 7-day forecast looks pretty nice. Again, we're still chilly tomorrow morning, starting in the 40s, 70s that both afternoon, Saturday and Sunday. That cold front on Sunday will bring a small cool down as we head into early next week. But again, if you look at those numbers compared to the averages at the bottom of your screen, we're just going from above average where we are now back to where we should be for this time of year. Probably with the exception of Tuesday morning where we could have a few spots in the upper 30s. There's no significant cool down in sight. We're going to take a quick 2-minute break and then we'll be back with Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley from WFMY Plus. So don't go anywhere.